All right, good morning, agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing, and today we are going to be joined by DJ Bibb, and he's going to go over some new stuff with the app, the Fidelity One Agent app. So excited to see what they've done there. That is a really important app. So before we get into today's presentation, we're not going to be joined by Bill Seitz, our broker, but we will bring Debbie Saccone from CVM on the line. Good morning, Debbie. How are you today?
I am fantastic as usual. I can't even tell you how many loans I have in my pipeline right now. It is busy out there. I don't know what it's like for you guys. I'm going to be making calls because I really want to know what is going on out there with a lot of, on the realtor side since the change of the compensation. So, but today, this morning, for those of you that are new with Alta, new as an agent, or just simply didn't know what Clearview Mortgage does, um, you know, uh, and I'm Debbie Does Loans, so I do loans. But anyway, we do all kinds of loans, and sometimes I'll talk to an agent, and they'll say, "Oh, I didn't know you do reverse mortgages. I didn't know that you do manufactured homes." So I'm just going to briefly run through some interesting facts and maybe some interest rates, loan amount, maximum, limits per county. But some of the loans that we do, there's the typical conventional purchase, refinance, VA, refinance, purchase, same with FHA. And with FHA and VA, we can do streamlined refinances, which is no qualifying. So if they currently have a VA loan or currently have an FHA loan, we can refinance them to a lower interest rate without them qualifying, no pay stubs or anything like that. We also have lots of different loans for investment properties. So you can also purchase an investment property with no qualifying, no pay stubs, no tax returns. I'm doing a lot of self-employed people that need a 12-month bank statement program, P&L statement program, 1099 program. There's all of those type of programs too. 3% down payment up to the new loan limit now, which is $795,000. And also, that's 3% down up to that loan limit. But in some of the high cost counties like Los Angeles and Orange County and San Diego, people are even looking for even more of a lower down payment to get into a home. And guess what? They just increased the loan amount for the conventional loans. So now in Orange County, the loan limit for conventional loans is I'm sorry, this is for FHA. Okay. For FHA, with 3.5% down, you can go up to a loan amount of $1,149,825. So, otherwise you have to put 5% down to go up to whatever the county loan limit is for conventional financing. We also do reverse mortgages, which I think I mentioned, and manufactured homes. We do multi-units, 1 to 4, and also over 4 units. So we can do, apartment buildings, commercial construction loans. So there's all different kinds of loans out there. Just a little tidbit of information for the high balance or the highest loan that you can get in one of the high cost counties with 5% down. The interest rate is 7.750. That's a non-conforming conforming high balance interest rate. And then for FHA, putting 3.5% down minimum, up to a loan amount of 1,149,825. The interest rate is 6.625%. So someone could put a minimum of 3.5% down, as long as they don't, currently own a home that is FHA, or has FHA financing on it, unless it's 100 miles away. But the rates are still good with a minimum amount of down payment. So I just wanted to leave that, some of those programs that we do, food for thought for you to think about it. Maybe you have a client that you were working with and you weren't sure if you could do this kind of loan. We could also, let's say you have a client that's looking at a piece of land. Typically you have to pay cash for land. There's very few land loans out there, but if they can incorporate plans for construction to build something on that piece of land, we can incorporate the land into a regular conventional or FHA or VA loan. So those are other little creative things too. Give me a call if you have a question about, a scenario, and you'll be surprised what kind of ideas we might be able to come up with to help you put that deal together. So I'm going to leave you with that, and be successful out there, and I hope you have a good time.
Thank you, Debbie. Always good words of not just, important information, but words of encouragement for us. So I always appreciate that.
Sure.
All right. Well, like she said, go ahead and give her a call and check out the rates look at it's just kind of bouncing back, just as Bill has been saying. When the Fed cut did that 50-point cut, it was already baked in. And so we're just seeing it kind of stabilize. Don't you agree, Debbie?
Well, and listen, it's very confusing. They do this big announcement that the Feds cut the rate a 0.5 point. Guess what? That's for credit cards. It's not for mortgage rates. So what ended up happening was, the rates were pretty good before they did that.
Yeah.
And when they cut the rates for mortgages went up, and everybody was thinking that the interest rates were going down. But unfortunately, when the Feds cut rates like that, when they announced that, that's for credit cards. That's not for mortgage rates. The best thing to look at if you want to know what is going on out there with interest rates, check this screen out right now. It says the US 10-year Treasury. This can be also found on Market Watch or just Google it, 10-year Treasury note.
Yeah.
You can see in this particular screen, the current index is 4.25%. Before the Feds cut this rate, okay, it was 3.8%.
Right.
Or somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
You did it. 3.8, 3.9. Okay.
Right.
That's before the Feds cut the rate. So right now we're at 4.25, but you see right next to it on the right, it has 0.024% down, and it's red. You know what? I usually hate to see like red stop signs. I like to blow through. Anyway, but when you see red like this and it's going down, that's a good sign for interest rates.
Yeah.
That means when the 10-year Treasury note goes down, typically, okay, if there's not a war going on or whatever, crazy stuff, when you see the 10-year Treasury note go down, that means that we're headed for interest rates to go down that day, because that index could go up the next day, and now we're looking at an adjustment in the rate, and the rate could go up. But right now we're at 4.252. That means we need to get back down into the threes, really, to see any enormous change in interest rates. But I'll take 4.1. I'll take anything right now,
Right.
to get those rates lower.
So yeah, we'll all be keeping our eye on that, obviously. Debbie, again, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right then. So now we're going to shift gears, and we are going to invite DJ Bibb from Fidelity. DJ, good morning, and how are you today? And you may need to unmute your microphone. far more effective.
Good morning, Kevin. I am doing fantastic. Thank you again for having me back on. I love being here with you all.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. And so DJ is our go-to guy for all things. He's our representative for Fidelity. And so, DJ, give us a tiny bit of background before you get in. We do have a bunch of new agents on the line who probably don't know you real well.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, yeah, my name's DJ Bibb. I'm with Fidelity National Title. I've been in the business for a little over 20 years. And if you're not real familiar with Fidelity National Title, we are the largest title company in the world. We have smaller subsidiary companies. You may have heard of them: Chicago Title, Lawyers Title, Ticor Title, Commonwealth Title, Alamo Title, uh, and a few others that are not here in Southern California. So we are the largest, and one of the things we pride ourselves on is not just being the most financially strong to protect your clients with our financial backing, but also reinvesting so much of that into tools to help you guys and to support you guys in what you do. So I try to bring as much value to my clients as possible through the Fidelity tools, but also through my 20 years of expertise and trying to make sure that your transactions get that extra attention when they need it. We've all had transactions go sideways on us, and not having a rep to walk that one through, to lean on underwriters and convince them that, hey, we can do it this way, we can look at it differently, let's go ahead and push this one through. It's just huge, and it's what I kind of pride myself on for delivering to my clients.
Oh, and he absolutely does that. We have a lot of agents that work with him, and you do a great job. So we appreciate you, DJ.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate the relationship we've got here.
Yeah, and you work well with Raquel from Legacy as well, right?
Oh yeah, Raquel is great. Her and I talk all the time. We got it down to a pretty smooth and seamless little process between our two teams. So
that's a big one for us as Alta Realty Group. When our agents use DJ and they use Raquel, everything seems to go very smoothly in the transactions. And then on the other side, and it happens, something, obviously we can't have all of our transactions go through Raquel, but when we do deal with other escrow companies, there's always a little something, there's a hiccup, there's always something that kind of goes wrong, but you guys are just lockstep in sync, so that's really cool.
Yeah, we like to keep things as boring as possible for our agents.
That's great.
And having the two teams working together, the more often they work together, the smoother you're going to get. You get an escrow and a title that don't know each other, and that's where your surprises are probably going to happen.
Every time.
So,
all right, so take it away, DJ.
Yeah, so today's meeting is all about our Fidelity Agent One app update. So we've seen this before. If you've been with the company for a while, I think I covered this last year, but because of the new, I don't want to call them laws, because of the new rules and about commissions, right? We did a big overhaul to this app to incorporate buyer, agent commissions, concessions, whatever the going term is for what we're going to call it. So we incorporated all those into this app. So if you haven't seen this app, this is the #1 closing cost calculator app in the real estate industry nationwide. It's one that we came up with. It's got all the closing costs built in, from title fees, escrow fees, standard termite fees, loan origination. I mean, it's got everything built in as a default, and then you can edit and delete anything you want. We've gone around to all the vendors in each individual county and verified their rates. So when you go ahead and download the app, you select which county you're in, and those actual fees for industry standards will be reflected in the app. The app is free. There is I think it's $12 a year premium upgrade where you get a whole bunch of good marketing stuff for social media and all kinds of cool stuff. But today I want to focus on the updates that have to do with concessions and buyer agent commissions and things of that nature. So when you log into the app, here's what you're going to see. It defaults to the buyer calculation, but you will also have a seller calculation. Then you'll have a handful of other calculators and estimates that you can play around with. So the buyer estimate, the way it works is you come right here and you can add an address if you like. And when you add the address, it finds it, it auto-populates. It'll bring in the taxes for that property. It brings in the local information for the taxes. But the neat thing about this is you can add as much information or as little information as you want, and it will still give you a calculation. So let's start with a home price. We'll just do $1 million, nice round numbers. You can choose your loan type, right? Interest only, owner finance, FHA, all cash. We'll do just conventional. 20% down, you can do a dollar amount or a percentage. The interest rate, it defaults to, industry average interest rates, but this is, you can just edit it to whatever you want. You can edit the term. And here we go, buyer broker commission fee. Now, what this app is, this is creating a buyer estimate for your client. So if you're not comfortable with this term buyer broker fee, right, you can select from, these other options, buyer agent fee, compensation, commission, or you can click edit and you can add in your own custom term for whatever you guys are comfortable calling it. We're here to support that. So you call it whatever you want.
Yeah, I think compensation is the most benign.
Right. So, but we left that open for you guys. So
that's great.
And then you can choose who's going to pay that, right? So right here, you can choose the buyer, the seller, or you can split it, right? Because all these things become negotiable. So you have the choice when you're building it in to the, to the estimate. You then can add in concessions, right? And this can be a dollar amount or it can be a percentage. And then you add in any miscellaneous things. There's hazard insurance, there's taxes, HOA, whatever, and you hit compute. And it gives you your detailed closing costs. So it shows you what your monthly payment is, your bring to close for the buyer, breaks down into principal and interest, taxes, insurance, your down payment, your prepaid closing costs, your fixed closing costs, and you can get a detailed version of what those are. Right here, you're like, why is it so high? And you see right here, 14 months of insurance they want paid up front. If you don't like this, if you tend to disagree, everything is editable. You can change that to 0, whatever your mortgage professional tells you is going to be required for the loan, right? But all of those are right here. There's a built-in hidden feature. You can click that. And now it's going to adjust. Look, if we change our offer price by $10,000 increments, here's what it's going to do to our total monthly payment, our principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So if you're working with your buyer, right, and they're trying to up their offer or they don't know how much wiggle room they have, you can see just how much it's going to affect their monthly payment. And if you want to change those increments, right, you can change it from 10,000, 50,000, 100, you can update it. And now it shows a more realistic scenario based on your price point. So there's a lot you can do with this, but again, you don't need to be doing all this. It has as much as you want or as little as you want. And then all of this is shareable, right? You hit share and it's going to give you all these different PDFs on the side to choose from. This will not be branded to me. This will be branded to you. You'll go over here and you'll fill out your profile with your own headshot, your own company and branding. You can choose your colors. So this will be a very nice professional looking estimate to deliver to your client.
And again, this is in the palm of your hand. And so you're doing this on the fly with your client. And it's really impressive when you're coming up with all these, because information is what helps us and our clients make decisions. And having all this information and the increments, you are providing so much value. I mean, at this point, you know, obviously your services are worth something. So, when you're doing these kinds of things, it's very hard for, a client to be like, you're not worth your 2.5%, your 3%, right?
And when you can click customize right here, and you can add, is it edit profile? No, that's where you add your own profile. There's a way where you can add photos of the property to this PDF. So
Oh,
you'll
wow.
get quick with this. And like all I really put in here, right, was the sale price. And then I tinkered with the commissions and I hit compute. So when you go to that takes 2 seconds. So when you're walking out of a showing, right, you can take a photo of the front of the house and you can do one of these for every house you look at, and it will remind them of which home they saw, which one it was when they're looking at these numbers later on. So it's very clean, very easy. Going to the seller, it's the same thing, right? This is a seller net sheet, not a buyer estimate, but a seller net sheet. So here you'd put in, again, the sale price, and here it breaks out the seller broker fee. Again, we can call that whatever we're most comfortable with. And then you put in the buyer thing, the buyer fee, and then you choose who's gonna pay the buyer, the seller, or you can split it, right? And then you'll put the concessions in here. And if you're gonna put seller to pay the buyer fee, and you put in a concession, it's going to give you a little trigger, right? Saying you have seller paying compensation and a concession. Are you sure you want to do this? This is just a little fail safe, just to let you know you're doubling up on the seller if just to make sure that's what you were looking to do. So no modify, and then you can go and choose, is the seller going to pay this, or is he going to pay the concession? So you can do the buyer's going to pay the fee, but the seller's going to pay the concession. You can add the repairs, you add the seller's loan balance, 500,000, you put in their interest rate, put in the closing date, hit compute, and it's going to give you the seller's net at close. It's going to break it down to the sales price, the loan balance, prorated tax credit, closing costs, net at close. And again, the detailed version of all those closing costs is right here. You've got your title fees, your escrow fees, your sub escrow, your notary, your disclosure report. It's got it all in here. And again, these are all editable. So if you've negotiated for the buyer to pay the termite inspection, you just click edit and you can delete that line item off. Again, every calculation has a little secret feature. How much will I net at close? And you can do price increments. Not really sure how this secret feature is working, but they've all got a little added bonus. And again, it's all shareable for you in the PDF of your choice down the right-hand side here. Branded to you, shareable on social media. You can text it, you can email it, you can download it, you can print it, you can save it to your computer. We wanted it shareable in any way that you want to share it. Going in, I know I'm moving quickly, but I want to cover 2 more calculators. One, concessions cheat sheet. This is a brand new one. This one is cool. As you guys are learning, or as you guys have already learned, the amount of concessions allowed to be built in or paid in a transaction change based on the sale price, right? Certain sale prices will allow certain percentages. So this is a little cheat sheet for you. You can put in the sale price and you can add your concession, 3%, and you hit compute, and it's going to give you a little cheat sheet. Okay. The remaining concession is 30,000. Your maximum allowable concession at the $1 million price point is 6%. The current one that you put in is 3%, so it's 30,000. and you can share this. This is just, for you and when you're working with your client to show them what's possible. You can change this to 999, hit compute. I thought it was supposed to, so now it shows, the maximum concessions allowable. It just changes. So it's a nice little tool. And then here is probably my favorite new calculator. Did I freeze? Okay. This commissions calculator. Compare different compensation scenarios. So if you're working with, your buyer, right, you can put down your million, or you're working, if you're working with your buyer, your seller, whoever, right, you put in the loan information, you put your buyer agent compensation. Okay. You're going to assume just the standard things, but those are all changeable. And you hit compute. It gives you your first scenario. Buyer pays buyer agent compensation, 3%. Here's your monthly payment. Here's your bring to close. Buyer pays 30 grand at close, 0 concessions. Option 2, seller pays 0. Option 2 says the seller is going to pay. So here is the difference in the monthly payment. It didn't change. The change in the bring to close changed by 30 grand for the buyer. The seller's going to pay 30. The buyer's going to pay nothing. And then your third option, buyer agent compensation is rolled into the offer. So this is the most powerful one, in my opinion. The sale price goes up 32 grand. The concession goes to 3%. The seller pays 30 at close. The buyer pays a little bit more, pays $211 more monthly. And they bring somewhere in between to close, right? But the seller's not having to actually pay this 30 grand because the sale price has gone up to 32. So it's built in to the deal. So this ends up being a really good option for both the buyer and the seller. And this calculator here kind of just illustrates the 3 different options the buyer and seller have when they're trying to make these decisions. After all, we're trying to equip you guys with the information, the tools, the power to lay this out for your clients in the clearest way possible.
Now that is unbelievable. In my mind, this is just an absolute must. Otherwise, you're just, scribbling these calculations and making them, it just takes longer. So this is a really easy way to just get the information that you need and your clients need in extremely timely fashion.
Yeah. And when you guys are trying to separate yourselves from your competitors, we know how competitive it is for you guys out there. Having any kind of an edge possible is a huge advantage. Being able to deliver clean, clear, concise information to your clients where your competition may not be able to is really going to prove your value to them, especially, right, with the buyers who now have to sign an agreement with you.
Absolutely. So this is just, these are the tools that you need now that this is, an issue, right?
Correct. So yeah, we'd love to have you guys sign up for this and start playing around with it. I will send Kevin a link that he can email out for you guys just to click on and sign up and get off and running. It has a mobile version, your phone, your iPad, desktop version. The premiums, as I mentioned, comes out with a monthly marketing package with a whole bunch of cool stuff. You guys can sift through it and play around, but it comes out with all kinds of social media content, infographics, swipeable infographics, personalized videos, all kinds of neat stuff. So you guys can check that out as well.
And did you say that was $12 a year?
Yeah, it's $12 a year, 99 cents a month. It's
That's the
my
no-brainer,
opinion.
guys. Please do this.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like you're getting the value, it's just because you've neglected to use the app, and I will reimburse you.
Yeah, there you go. So DJ, thank you so much for updating us on this great app. This is an absolute must for all of our agents. What I'll of course do is when I put out the replay of this video this afternoon, I'll make sure to have that link prominent so you guys can just download this thing really easily and then play around with it. And if you have trouble, of course, contact DJ.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you all for inviting me here and for listening. We're here to support you guys in every way we can.
Thanks so much. And I will go ahead and put your information, of course, in the replay as well. Agents, thanks for joining us. Get out there, make it a great week and make it a productive week. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week on the Wednesday webinar. Bye-bye.